The United Kingdom just had its most seismic political earthquake in over a century. A brand new party that's barely just a few years old just destroyed the British two-party system forever. And if you think what just happened in Britain is the big story, wait until you hear where the polling says this is all going, because we may be watching the permanent, total, and irreversible extinction of the leftist Labour Party in real time. Can it be true? Are we watching the demise of both the Democrats here at home and Labour across the pond? That's exactly what we're about to find out. Hey gang, it's me, Dr. Steve, your Patriot Professor, enjoying yet another glorious day in the Trumpian golden age that you made possible back in November of 2024. So if you want a front row seat on how you continue to change the world in ways you never even imagined, you know what to do. Make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. This past week, while America was watching the Virginia redistricting drama unfold, our fellow patriots across the pond were making history of their own, the kind of history that makes your jaw drop and doesn't let you pick it back up. Because what just happened in Britain's not a protest vote. It's not a bad night for the ruling party. It's not the normal pendulum swing of politics. What happened in Britain is a full-scale, civilizational level political revolution, and it only just begun. So first, the basics here, because the numbers are genuinely staggering. So on Thursday of last week, voters went to the polls across England, Scotland, and Wales to fill roughly 5,000 council seats across 136 local councils. This is something akin to the UK's version of the midterms. It's the biggest test for the party in power in Parliament. It was widely described as a referendum on Prime Minister Keir Starmer's leadership. Well, the verdict is in, and it was absolutely devastating. When all the votes were counted, here's what the scoreboard looked like. Reform UK, a brand new, what some are calling far-right anti-immigrant party, brand new party, no more than just a few years old. They had just 5 seats in Parliament 2 years ago. They won an astonishing 1,453 new council seats. You heard that right, 1,453. They gained control of 14 local councils. Their very first London borough, Havering, Essex County Council, Sunderland, Newcastle-under-Lyme. One historic Labour stronghold after another, after another, after another, all working class districts, all flipping to reform. And it wasn't just reform. There's another party, brand new, called Restore Britain, founded by Rupert Lowe. They contested exactly 10 seats. Guess how many they won? All 10. They won all of their contests. They actually finished ahead of even Reform UK in every single one of those contests. So what we're seeing here is very similar to what we saw back in the States, back here in the States in 2016, when nearly 200 counties in Wisconsin, Iowa, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Ohio, deep blue working class counties, they voted Democrat, union vote. They voted Democrat in every presidential election for decades. They suddenly, back in 2016, shifted and voted Trump dramatically, some by 20-point margins. It was a massive swing vote away from the establishment leftist party to the new nationalist, populist, so-called far-right party, or in our case, candidate. And that's exactly what we saw happening here. Keep in mind, in many respects, what we're seeing playing out here in Britain is the Brexit realignment. In fact, some months before Trump realigned American politics with the white working class defecting from the Democrats and voting Trump back in 2016, in November of 2016, we saw that very same realignment first in the UK in June of that year, with districts that had voted Labour, Britain's establishment center-left party. They had voted Labour for decades, but they were the ones who most wanted out of the EU. They were the ones who fully supported Brexit. Brexit, in many respects, was a working-class revolt against the bullies in Brussels. And that very same sentiment expressed itself again in December of 2019 in that landslide national parliamentary election for Boris Johnson and the Tories, where regions that would never even have considered voting for the Tories did so en masse, giving the Tories the biggest landslide victory in a century, all because Boris Johnson ran on, we're going to get Brexit done. Vote for us and we'll get Brexit done. What ended up happening is Boris Johnson, the Tories, squandered that opportunity. They betrayed their working class voters. They opened up the borders. They brought in more migrants than Labor did when they were in power. And they were quickly voted out of office just a couple of years back in a landslide win, but now this time for the Labor Party. But Labor, of course, has been a disaster. You thought Tories were bad. Labor could be even worse. And this last election proved it. The Labor Party, with these local council elections just last week, they were literally gutted. They were decimated. They lost. They basically lost as many seats as Reform won. They lost more so. They lost 1,496 council seats. They lost control of 38 councils. In fact, it was so bad that they lost Birmingham, the UK's largest local council, where Labour lost control of a city it had dominated for 14 years. Labour lost 80% of its seats across the country. The BBC's own vote share projection, based on over 1,000 wards, put Reform winning 31% nationally, more than any other single party by far. Labour ended up in third with just 15%. They actually came behind the ridiculous Green Party, the Greta Thunberg Party, for heaven's sakes. So they got squeezed from both the right and the left. Well, I should say the new right and the new left. So this really was the latest Brexit realignment taking shape in Britain, and it has completely altered their two-party system permanently. In fact, we may indeed be witnessing nothing less than the end of Labour and the Tories as we've known it, which would signify the single biggest political earthquake to rock Europe and its rising populist movements yet. Wait until you see this. But first, I need you all to go right now to turleytalkscrypto.com. That's turleytalkscrypto.com. I want to tell you about something that I think is incredibly important, especially given everything we're watching happen in this economy right now. You know what I talk about every single day, right? The system that was supposed to protect everyday Americans is showing its cracks. Your groceries cost more. Your 401k is bouncing around. I mean, I've been asking myself harder questions about my own financial future, and I think you should be too. Here's what the globalist financial establishment does not want you to understand. You don't have to keep your entire retirement in their system. That's why I want to tell you about Block Trust IRA and why I think it matters right now more than ever. Block Trust IRA lets you add Bitcoin and crypto to a tax-advantaged retirement account, the same IRA structure you already rely on. And look, you don't need to understand crypto. That's the entire point. Think of it like having a professional portfolio manager handling the strategy for you. Unlike Wall Street, Block Trust IRA only profits when you profit, period. Your assets are held in institutional cold storage, insured, protected. It's yours. This is financial sovereignty, gang. And given everything happening in the economy right now, there is no better time to start asking harder questions about your retirement. Right now, when you open up your account at turleytalkscrypto.com, you can receive up to $2,500 in bonus crypto to get started. turleytalkscrypto.com. If you've been watching this channel, you already know the world is changing. This is where you start changing with it. Click on that link below right now. Now, let's zoom out here, because what this election just confirmed is something that serious political observers have been watching build for years, but it's finally happened. The British two-party system is finished. It's officially been broken. You have to understand how significant that is. Labour and the Conservatives have seated every single prime minister in the United Kingdom for over 100 years. Together, they've defined the entire architecture of British democracy. As of last week, that has all officially ended. Their combined vote share collapsed. Again, Labour at 15%. The Tories losing whatever was left of their own seats. They lost 563 of their own seats. Both of them hemorrhaging support. And again, not just to Reform on the right, but to the Greens on the left. As one Labour MP, a member of Parliament, put it, the two-party system is, quote, not just dying, it is officially dead. Now, the Conservatives aren't innocent bystanders in this. They lost, again, over 560 seats of their own. Reform didn't just storm Labour's working-class northern heartlands. They demolished the traditional Tory dominance in places like Essex and Suffolk that the Conservatives had held for generations. Britain's centre-right vote has been fundamentally, structurally, and perhaps permanently captured by the so-called far right, by Nigel Farage and Reform UK, by this new civilizationalist populist movement rising in Britain. And the reason for this, again, just like we're seeing here in the United States with the MAGA movement, is that this is not primarily an economic protest. It is a civilizational revolt. For decades, Britain's ruling class, Labour and Conservative alike, both of them, pursued a policy of mass, uncontrolled immigration without any democratic mandate from the people. Nearly 200,000 illegal migrants crossed on small boats alone under recent years of governance, most coming through Tory governance. All of it waved through by a managerial class suffering from what the Canadian psychologist Gad Saad calls suicidal empathy, if you've read his book. It's the belief that showing tolerance to others is more important than protecting your own people, even if it results in the destruction of your own nation. And what did the working class of Britain get in return? Grooming gang scandals covered up for 30 years, again by both parties. Teachers driven into hiding for offending local religious sensibilities. A government that jailed people for social media posts while allowing Islamist preachers to collect 40 or 50,000 pounds a year in welfare benefits. Parallel Sharia law courts operating in over 85 locations across the country, answerable to no one. Reform UK became the political home for literally everyone. Working class, minority voters, former conservatives, former Labour loyalists who looked at that picture and they just said, enough. This is insane. And they've had it. In many ways, in many Reform UK or even Restore Britain, they're just become the common sense parties. They've just become the new consensus parties. And last Thursday, that new common sense consensus showed up. So needless to say, Britain's current Prime Minister, Keir Starmer, it looks like he's on his way out. As of the making of this video, over 50 Labour MPs have publicly called for his resignation. A number of Labour politicians are openly declaring that they're going to challenge him for the leadership. Some reports are even suggesting, as of this morning, that Starmer may announce his resignation as soon as this week. The next general election isn't slated to be held until 2029. Unless there's a snap election before that. And right now, every scenario for Labour looks utterly catastrophic. These local elections were just the preview of what's to come. Before last Thursday, national polling already showed Reform UK as the most popular party in Britain, hands down, leading every published poll consistently since April of 2025. In fact, one major MRP survey projected Reform winning an astonishing 445 seats in their House of Commons. That just an unprecedented majority. That same model projected Labour collapsing from nearly 400 MPs that they have now to just 73. What we're watching in Britain really is the exact same civilizational populist wave that swept Donald Trump back into the White House in November 2024. The same wave that's reshaping politics from France to Italy to Germany. The people, the actual people, not the managerial elite, are reasserting their right to exist, to have an identity, to have borders. and to have a government that answers to them. The British two-party system is dead. Keir Starmer is fighting for his political survival. And Nigel Farage is standing outside a London town hall in the sunshine, telling the world this is only the beginning. So what do you guys think? Are we watching yet another extinction-level event? Both the Democrats here at home and Labor across the pond? Let me know what you think in the comments down below. And as always, make sure you smack that bell and subscribe button for breaking news and analysis you're not going to get anywhere else. Love you guys. God bless. Gang, if you've ever wondered what happens beyond the videos you see here on YouTube, now's your chance to take a look. Scan the QR code on your screen for a free preview and get a taste of the exclusive content designed to keep you informed, encouraged, and ready for what's coming.